2.5 bloody hours. 2.5 hours? Why would you... No, the only thing I've been testing for the last 2.5 cumulative hours trying to do this quest is my bloody patience. My name is Totalbiscuit of the WoW podcast, Blue Please on cynicalbrit.com. This is another Azshara leveling video with Hi YouTube the Goblin Rogue. Now, you might wonder why the rage. I'll tell you the rage. You see that little green thing right there? Yep. That's a stonified miner. You see that black thing right there? That's supposed to be a stonified miner. You want to know what's been happening for the last few weeks? Every one of those has been a black stonified miner, and I've not been able to click on any of them with the refleshify array. It took me 2.5 hours to find 8 of these guys. This is why I haven't been putting out these leveling videos, because I haven't had the patience. Let's log in for half an hour and see whether or not we can get anything. No, we can't! Because it's broken. Calm down, Totalbiscuit. It's done. It's over. The pain has passed. The mental scarring will fade with time. Jesus. Oh, well, never mind. We can get on to some more fun stuff. You'll notice that I've got a bunch of quests in my log, which are actually from Ragefire Chasm. I do intend to go in there at some point. There haven't been major changes to have a look at, but it'll be nice to get some blue gear. Yes, indeed. Some mad deeps. Absolutely. Now, any changes that have happened to the other dungeons, you'll notice there's been a stockade change recently. That's going to be happening on the Worgen at some point. I'm not going in there with a level 80. I don't think that's the best way to show the content. I really don't. I think everything should be done level appropriate because it's the best way to test and it's the best way to present it to you because it's realistic and it's all in context. Now, speaking of in context, we're actually getting stuff now at level 15 that is about the equivalent of the stuff we got in the Goblin starting zone.
Time is money, friend.
That's not all that amazing when you think about it. It does show that imbalance. We did discuss this last time, that a lot of the quests we're being given right now are actually under-leveled. We come out of the Goblin Zone over-leveled in comparison to the other guys, so we end up with quests that are green, mobs that are green, and rewards that are subpar. But right now at level 15, doing quests which are about level 13 or 14, I'm getting gear that is as good and maybe slightly worse than what I got from the Goblin place at like level 9 to 10. So there is an imbalance there. It's very clear that that needs to be addressed in some way, either by nerfing the Goblin Zone and, of course, the Walking Zone, or by raising up the level of the stuff in Azshara so that everyone comes into Azshara at about the same kind of level. Right now, that's not really happening. Kind of sucks, honestly. Orcs are coming in here at about level 9 or 10-ish, and Goblins are coming in more like level 12 to 13. So they end up not getting as much experience, and the loot that they get for several levels is totally useless. Regardless, it's a nice little questing area, and we've got to report to our next little questing hub right here, where we will find yet more explosions. That is the way to do it. I just saw the expendables today, and it reminded me very much of the Goblin starting zone. Like, the whole screen is exploding! Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the kind of thing I find entertaining, folks. Simple things, simple minds.
Hey, how you doing?
And before I go on, may I just apologise if I'm sounding slightly nasal. It looks like I've managed to catch a cold as well. So, hoarse voice plus cold. Awesome. So no excuse, though. I will continue doing the videos. You'll just have to deal with the supermarket trolley attendant. Hi, YouTube. Spill on aisle 15. Spill on aisle 15. Jar of pickles. Ugh. Right, so we have some quests. What are we going to do? Well, there are a variety of fun things, including first-degree mortar. Yes, let's go find the mortar. So the mortar is actually set up over there on the ridge. And what we're going to do is we are going to use the mortar to blow up some Naga. Sounds like fun. It's your obligatory turret segment that you find in almost every first and third person shooter. In this case, we've got it in WoW. You'll note off in the distance we've got some Sons of Arkarok that have been slaved. Who was Arkarok? He was that sea giant quest giver back in Vanilla. Turns out that his sons have been taken prisoner by the Naga. That's not too good, is it? They're actually stomping up and down a Goblin minefield right now and don't really seem to care too much. The mortar doesn't do anything to them either. Are you annoyed by that voice yet? I am. That's really irritating. Actually, that's incredibly annoying. Oh, shush, please. Oh, I've only killed half of them as well. This thing needs a bigger AoE so I don't have to hear, I can't cast that yet. It's not ready yet. Yeah. Over and over again. Please, no. Oh, well, it's fun to shell people and explode, and I like to see the fact that they fly in the air. That's always good. More of that.
I can't cast that yet.
There we go. Stop firing. Stop whining at me. I can't cast that yet. Out, you fool. Okay, we do have some other quests that we need to do. Those are the keen-eyed amongst you will have seen that we picked up 3. Now, the next one is fairly entertaining. I'm going to hand this one in for the time being and see what we can get next, since this is actually relevant. There we go, that belt right there, you can see I was talking about. It's exactly the same stats as the one I currently have, and I got that one way earlier. Okay. Next one coming up right here. We have to collect some supplies. However, there is a twist. Those supplies are in the middle of a minefield. So what does the newest recruit of the Gallywix Defense Division thing have to do? Yes, walk into the minefield and get the stuff. Regardless of the fact that this quest is extremely entertaining, as I'm about to demonstrate, you don't take any damage from these things, but you do get thrown around all over the place. This is an example of a quest done right. This is the kind of thing that Blizzard needs to keep doing. So, regardless of the fact that I just did the most proest thing you've ever seen, I would like to point out that this is a normal, run-of-the-mill pickup quest. You go to things, you take them off the corpses. However, they've thrown in a bit of a twist. Allow me to make a comparison to StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2's campaign mode has a bunch of missions that in any other RTS would be generic, but they've put a unique spin on each one of them. So, for instance, what in a normal RTS would be a defense mission, in StarCraft 2, it's a, well, there's a night and day cycle, and you get attacked by hordes of evil Zerg zombie things during the night, but during the day, they die because of the solar radiation, and then you've got to go out during the day and do your stuff, and then huddle up at night. In any other RTS, that wouldn't happen. In this case, what Blizzard needs to do is take that principle, and it seems that that's what they're doing, and apply it to normal, run-of-the-mill quests in WoW. It's like, okay, well, in vanilla WoW, this would be a generic drop quest. Now, it's covered in minefields, which makes it so much more interesting. It makes it more entertaining. You might think, oh, well, this is annoying. You get flinged all over the place. Yeah. Okay, cool, you're getting flinged all over the place. It might be a little bit irritating, but it's different. That's the main thing. It's not just another pick-up and hand-in quest. It's pick-up with a twist. You don't have to get to the degree of complexity that StarCraft 2's missions have. I mean, for God's sake, that has, what, 28, 29 campaign missions? And you've got thousands of quests in WoW. You don't have to get to that level of complexity. But adding just something unique in each quest keeps it interesting and keeps you playing. This is the kind of thing WoW questing needs so desperately. We've got past the point that it's acceptable to just have a generic kill or a generic drop quest. There has to be a spin on it to make it more interesting, to make it more entertaining, and to make it more immersive. Well, there we go. Now, this quest, I've got to pick up something. It's an item. It's called the SFG, the Surface to Face Grenade. Now, what I'm going to do is use this to take down one of those enslaved sea giants. So I'm going to do that right now, or try to. As I experienced at the start of the video, beta is indeed beta. What does that mean? That means some quests don't quite work the way they should. Now, I submit bug reports, as do the other people around here, and I also provide these videos partially as entertainment for you guys, well, mostly for entertainment for you guys, but also as feedback. Blizzard TMs have already admitted to listening to my podcast, so it does seem unlikely that they wouldn't at least have a cursory glance at the videos. So I think this is a good way to present the feedback in a concise and very visual manner that goes beyond simply submitting a bug report, because you can see exactly what's happened right here, and you can hear me rage about it. Okay, the Surface to Face Grenade is primed and ready. However, we run into a little bit of a problem. So this quest has a few issues. Sometimes it won't count your kill. I was dumb here. I fired it at a grey mob, which I thought it would count, honestly. I thought it might count. I just thought, hey, well, also, it comes down to the fact that I'm beta testing. So, I'm like, well, this is a grey mob. What happens if I do this? As it turns out, you don't get the credit. It hadn't been hit by anything, but still, you don't get the credit. So there we go. That's me beta testing. Right, so that leaves me in a bit of a jam. It turns out that there is no way to get another grenade. You can't abandon the quest. It just doesn't work. And you can't fire the grenade again because you only get one, and you can't pick it up again off the ground. I checked all of these things. So the only way to complete this and actually go forward is to fight a level 18 Orange Elite. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. The worst thing is, because of the patrol patterns and the actual speed of these damn things, I tried sneaking up behind one to backstab. I cut out like 5 minutes of footage of me trying this. I just can't do it. not without aggroing another one. The aggro range is too large. So I opened up with a rocket there, and I'm going for a 5-stack eviscerate on it. Now I'm taking some damage. Pop my evasion. And once I've done that, what I'm going to do is pop my recuperate, which is the new regeneration ability that rogues get at low levels. Now, hopefully this Warlock will help me out a little bit, because I'm not entirely convinced that I have the firepower to bring him down. You can see I'm healing up a little bit there, and I'm getting some good dodges, but otherwise it's not too great. Thankfully, the Warlock's helped me out now, otherwise I don't think I would have quite got it. Almost, I reckon, almost, but I just took a nasty hit there. Another, I'd say a higher level recuperate might have helped if I'd taken the talent there as well. But hey, there we go, level 18, Elite Giant is down, so that's not too bad. Okay. Now, I've got the credit for that. That's very good indeed. Let's say thank you to this guy. And then we can go hand this one in and see what we have coming up next. There are some good quests in this zone. There really are. They are entertaining, they are varied, and they've still got the Goblin theme to them. They're not as extreme and as in-your-face as, say, Kezan and the Lost Isles, where it's like, this is Goblin-y. Hey, I'm just going to throw this at you with a Goblin twist. Here, they've got a flavour of Goblin. Like, this is the kind of Goblin way of doing things. This drop quest is covered in landmines. You have to do a Magic Wand quest, which involves throwing a surface-to-face grenade launcher at a giant. The Goblin theme is clearly there, but it's not overpowering, and I think a lot of people had a legitimate complaint about Kezan and about Lost Isles, subjective as it is, but legitimate nonetheless, that said, hey, this is just too much. This is too gimmicky for my liking, and it's why a lot of people said they preferred the Worgen stuff, because it was more down-to-earth, it was more serious, it was grimdark, and I don't really blame them. I think that I too prefer the Worgen starting zones. But in terms of Azshara, I think that it's really come into its own, in that they've taken these otherwise boring quests and given a unique Goblin spin to them that is present, it's there, it gives identity to the quests and to the character that you're actually playing, but it doesn't go overboard. Like this quest, for instance. I have a stealth field generator. I don't really need it. It's just a discover quest, so I have to discover something. But if you read the quest text, what you will notice is that, as opposed to, say, any other faction where it would be, well, we've got to go and find out what's causing this, because this is terrible, and this could be the end of the world, oh my god. The Goblins are like, well, they've got to have something that's controlling those sea giants, and it's probably expensive. So why don't you go and have a look and see if it's something we can steal to make a bit of money? I've said it several times before, and it's completely valid. These guys are the Ferengi of Azeroth. And that's good, because the Ferengi provided some much-needed comic relief in terms of Star Trek, as well as a fairly unique look at society in general, so I don't see any reason not to have these here. I like it when my nerdy pastimes cross-pollinate. It's sexy. Oh dear. Looks like I'm not getting anything good out of that, but hey. Never mind, things happen.
Have a good one.
Okay, so we are actually now moving on to another quest hub right here. We're done with this completely. So a little bit of a stroll across the way. We haven't used the Rocket Way as of yet. This questing area is huge. Bear in mind that we're going to be here for at least another 5 levels. There's a lot to do. The Rocket Way will take you to various places within Azshara. The preset's kind of like free flight paths. It's very nice. It's very handy, and it's not the only zone to have something like that. I'll showcase those in a future video. So I have new mail that's not just random pets. I'd like to show it to you, and I'd like to say a big thank you to Kashi, who sent me 1,000 gold and 4 gigantic bags, which should sort out my carrying situation. I like to carry around a lot of junk. I'm a pack rat, so gigantiques, I can't even afford these on the live server. Christ. My level 15 beta goblin has better gear than I do. That's embarrassing. Oh, achievements! Oh! Never been enthused by achievements. I'm sorry. It's just not my thing. I don't care. Ooh, sparkly thing. Merit badge. Yeah, I used to be a Cub Scout. I remember when you had to work for your merit badges. Back in my day, you damn kids with your music. Yes. Let's get all of these swapped out. So, again, thank you very much, Kashi. That is very much appreciated. That will no doubt make things go a lot easier. I can carry even more junk now. Woohoo! Fantastic. I must point out, though, because I'm a mean bastard, I did not empty my mailbox. I don't know, I like triggering people's OCD. It's quite entertaining. Does that make me a bad person?
Hey,
Yes, it does make me a bad person.
Keep it real.
Right, more stuff. Ooh, there we go.
Times will pass.
The Blood Elf has something. It's probably boring knowing the Blood Elf. I wanted to go and scout some ancient artifacts because I'm a Blood Elf and very depressed about everything. But magic, magic, magic. Need my next hit.
Have a good one.
This one's far more interesting. A junior surveyor. I've got my very own intern. Wonderful. So what am I going to do with the intern? Well, we could start with getting it killed. That sounds particularly Goblin. Now we're being tasked with two things. First, go find some artifacts. Boring. And then secondly, go activate the surveyor machines. There are 3 of them. There are 3 markers around this lake that have been scouting out various things. And do you think we're going to be able to activate the surveyors without something bad happening? Oh no, absolutely not. And it's pretty entertaining. It's actually very dangerous mobs here. Okay, let's speed this up so we get over here a little quicker. I'll tell you, Goblins have had some really good escort quests thus far, which is quite surprising considering they don't seem to care too much about the preservation of their own kind. But whatever the case, this one's no exception. It's like, activate the survey. Certainly. Elementals of hate. Shades of hate in this case. They hurt. They really actually hurt quite a bit. Especially since you get chain pulls of them. You actually get about 3 at one after the other. You've got a nasty magic effect. There's a 4th. Now, your intern can actually tank these quite well, so it's not too big a deal. But I do like the little comments he makes. They do give quite a bit of flavour to what would otherwise be some... It's not fair, really, to call these generic quests, because they aren't. These are just good escort quests. They're well-modelled, things happen, and you're constantly engaged. You don't feel like you're on autopilot. That's the one thing that I think Blizzard needs to try and avoid more than anything. If I ever feel like I'm on autopilot while I'm questing, then I'm not actually having fun. My brain has realized that I'm doing something repetitive and monotonous and has shut off the parts that make me pay attention. That's bad. That's really bad. That's Naxxramas after several months of Wrath going live bad. That is me just ignoring everything. I've got a raid because it's the only thing to do, blah, blah, blah. None of this is challenging. Oh, God, I'd rather be doing something else. Can you think of a bigger nightmare scenario for a company that has a subscription-based model? There isn't one, really, is there? I mean, if I buy a single-player game or even just a normal multiplayer game and I stop playing it, the company I bought it from doesn't care. The publisher doesn't care. I've already bought the game. That's how they make their money. In this case, though, you've got a game that you're paying for monthly and you expect a certain standard of entertainment for that. Now, if I'm not getting that standard of entertainment, I'm likely to cancel and have done on many occasions. If I'm not having fun with the game, I just cancel my sub. It's a sensible thing to do. Why would I keep paying for something that I'm not getting any enjoyment out of? I mean, there's many occasions where I've thought to myself, I would rather be playing another game. And that's when it gets bad, and that's when Blizzard can actually lose money. So Blizzard has got to realize that when it comes to questing, and anything that could be repetitive, it's got to stay engaging as much as possible, and it's got to be something that keeps you awake. It's got to be surprises. For an example of how this worked quite well, I'd like to go back to Hellfire Peninsula. Initially, in HFP, what you had was a bunch of mobs that were actually designed to counter gold farming bots that have a bunch of abilities that would be unusual. Yeah? So instead of just killing a normal mob, you'd get a mob that could do various things to you. And they, as a result of that, they were actually way more dangerous than a mob that you would otherwise find in the old world. So you end up being a little bit more awake. You have to be. They've upped the damage that a lot of the stuff does in Cataclysm as well. And they've also upped the HP. So what I'm hoping for is they're trying to make the questing experience just that a little bit more involved, where you've got to be awake for it, and you've got to be actively engaged and focusing on it. And the way that you do that, of course, is to make fun content that is not a walk in the park. That applies to pretty much every genre of game, whether it be single, multi, or MMO. It's the same principle across the board, but as far as I'm concerned, it's just so much more important for a subscription-based game. If I'm not getting value for money on a monthly basis, why would I pay for it? Now, speaking of paying for it, I don't think I'm going to be giving that intern any cash this time around. Like, you're just running off at random attacking Night Elves. Don't get me wrong, I don't like them either with their Naruto nonsense. But really, you're supposed to be using the machine. I don't understand these complicated technological devices. I just make things go boom. You tinker with the gadgets. Thank you. Yes, you concentrate on that, stop mucking about, and I will slay the demon. Ugh, Shade of Hate. Sounds like a My Chemical Romance album. No, I'm not turning back, even if you have the evil laser of doom. Thank you very much. Quit mucking about. Thank you. Just die. Again, I guess. Maybe you're already dead. Die a second time. Or perhaps even die 1,000 deaths. That would be nice. Just get out of the way. Okay, we're done here. So, in the meantime, as I run back, I'm going to pop a point in improved recuperate, considering that, well, it could have been useful earlier with the whole giant fighting thing. Seems like a nice ability. I'm using it a little bit more to try and stop some of the downtime. You're not seeing an awful lot of it, but as far as I'm concerned, a rogue with recuperate can have so little downtime, because you can just heal yourself. It's great. You just keep going from mob to mob to mob. You know what the best thing about this is? I know there's better quests. I mean, you haven't even seen the secret laboratory yet. There's some crazy stuff to come. I'm actually enjoying questing. Think about how ridiculous that is. I hate questing. This stuff's good. It is genuinely good. They've learned so much from their actual mistakes. I can't help but be so enthusiastic about that. You know, this is the Blizzard I remember. Polishing things to a mirror shine. Always taking a concept and just making it better. More, please. More. That's what I want. My name's been Totalbiscuit, and this has been another look at Azshara leveling with Hi YouTube, the Goblin Rogue, and I will see you next time.